why I donate a lot of money to Twitch streamers. It's 11:30 a.m. and I'm writing this out because I need to tell someone. I'm the person who donates hundreds and even thousands of dollars to Twitch streamers, mostly women. I just like seeing their reactions to a big donation. My parents have money, so therefore I have money, and these girls who are just so cute on Twitch, who actually interact with their audience, makes me want to donate even more. I won't list the streamers, but one of my donations made it onto that YouTube video of the highest Twitch donations. Like, I've actually played a game with a few of these girls and they actually seem like generally cool people who have amazing bodies. So what's a little harm if someone like me donates $700 or even $1,000? Maybe those girls are streaming because life is tough and they have no direction in life, so streaming pays their bills. Maybe they wouldn't need to show their bodies if guys respected them as a serious stream instead of spamming them. So what if they're not good at the game? It's a game no one needs to play, like some people play all the time and just like troll around in League of Legends, and their bodies bounce around when they get excited. You're probably thinking, oh, why not just donate to a cam girl or watch more extreme things? You know why I don't? Because those cam girls are so fake. They can't even bother to do anything, and also I like gaming and I like League of Legends, so when I see a hot or cute streamer really trying hard to put up with all the bad people in chat, it makes me want to donate 100 just to show her she's doing a bang up job. Also, I've watched enough extreme content to be bored. I'm going to the motions at this point. It's not as entertaining as you think. Do people not like when girl streamers take over Twitch? Maybe, but you know what? It's my money and I'll spend it however I see fit. I can go spend my money on some crappy green light, but giving money to a girl streamer is bad. I find female streamers less serious and more entertaining than some dude who's ranked 10 in the game who just talks trash about others. Am I the jerk? I thought about it for a second and I can't figure out what a green light is, referring to the part where he said he can spend some money on a green light, but giving money to a girl streamer is bad. So I don't know if you guys know what that means. But overall on this, I don't think there's anything wrong with him spending his money however he wants to. I know people get really upset about this type of thing for some reason, but I don't think a lot of the reasons people are upset are actually true. I don't think it ruins it for anyone else. It sounds like he probably wouldn't be donating to other streamers that didn't fit this exact criteria anyway, so I don't think there's any loss by him donating to these streamers that he chooses. I think the most common mentality is probably that if somebody else wins, then you lose, but I don't think it's necessarily the case. And with all that said, that's only referring to the overall concept of this. The way he actually wrote this was kind of weird because he's talking about how these streamers satisfy some part of him that guy streamers can't, even when they're ranked 10 in a game that talk trash. But the parts that he focuses on are the physical aspect of his streamers. So it is weird how he presents all this. One of the most popular opinions about him spending thousands of dollars on female streamers is why not spend it on local food banks or homelessness or anything that has people in a position where they really need help. So let me know what you guys think. Jerk or not a jerk, and what would you do? Am I the jerk for telling an employee she can choose between demotion or termination? I own a vape shop. We're a small business, only 12 employees. One of my employees, Peggy, was supposed to open yesterday. Peggy has recently been promoted to manager after 2 solid years of good work as a cashier. I really thought she could handle the responsibility. So I wake up 3 hours after the place should be open, and I have 22 notifications on the store's Facebook page. Customers have been trying to come to the shop, but the store is closed. Employees are showing up to work, but they're locked out. I call Peggy and get no response. I text her the same thing. So I go in and open the store. An hour before her shift was supposed to be over, she calls me back. I ask her if she's okay, and she says she needed to, quote, take a mental health day and do some self-care. I'm still pretty pissed at this point, but I'm trying to be understanding as I know how important mental health can be. So I ask her why didn't she call me as soon as she knew she needed the day off. Her response was, I didn't have enough spoons in my drawer for that. Frankly, I don't know what that means, but it seems like she's saying she cannot be trusted to handle the responsibility of opening the store in the morning. So I told her she has 2 choices. Number 1, go back to her old position with her old pay. Or number 2, I fire her completely. She's now calling me all sorts of ist words and says I'm discriminating against her due to her poor mental health and her gender. None of this would have been a problem if she simply took 2 minutes to call out. I would have got up and opened the store on time. But this no call, no show is not the way to run a successful business. I think I might be the jerk here because I am taking away her promotion over something she really had no control over. But at the same time, she really could have called me. So I leave it to you. Am I the jerk? I mean, this guy is nice enough to be able to give her time off for whatever she needs, it sounds like. All he's asking is that she calls in. And that's probably not that different than when she was working in the cashier. So it's strange that something would have changed between her working as a cashier and her getting promoted into her having some sort of understanding that she could just no call, no show, whatever the reason was. I mean, even if it was something totally different, it sounds like he's okay with it as long as she calls first just to let him know, because the other employees that he's paying can't even get into the store. That seems pretty ridiculous. The original poster of this was responding to somebody asking a question, and he said that he gave her the choice because he kind of feels like this whole thing is his fault. He promoted her past her level of success, and she was an amazing cashier, so he thought he'd reward her for that. But being good at sales doesn't really translate to being a good manager. Even though she seems to be claiming this, the whole situation seems like it has nothing to do with discrimination at all. It just seems like if anyone were to no call, no show and have the store closed when customers are trying to get in, I think he said that over 20 of them were leaving notifications on the Facebook page, then they would all be fired, whoever that person would be, if I had to guess. Let me know what you guys think, jerk or not a jerk, and what would you do if you were the boss in a situation? Would you give her the option to go back to her old position or fire her completely? Am I the jerk for telling my classmate who saved a goldfish by releasing them into the ocean that they are dumb? My classmate recently made a TikTok and she showed a group of people at lunchtime it. They were next to our table, so I overheard the girl say, "Hey, look at my TikTok I made, come check it out." And in it, she explains how she rescued a goldfish from the pet store and released them into the ocean so they can live free. I was horrified upon hearing this. I love fish and have several aquariums, so I'm fairly knowledgeable on them. I walk over and I ask her to show me the video and I facepalm. She asked me why, and I said, "You realize you're actually dumb, right? This is one of the dumbest things I've ever seen." Her friend says, "Well, that's just rude. Why would you say that? Because she cares?" To which I had to explain that goldfish are freshwater fish. They can't survive in the ocean because it's saltwater. So all those goldfish were dead in minutes. They basically choked to death as salt filled up their gills. Lastly, you never release animals into the wild. There are goldfish that are destroying our rivers and lakes because of dumb heads like her. They say I'm a bully and walk away. I later get called into the principal's office, who told me I was expected to apologize, and I said no. I stand by what I said. Screw ignorant people who destroy the environment. My parents were called over and I got sent home, and my parents are pissed and I refuse to apologize. I might get suspended. So, am I the jerk? The other kids here must have told the principal something much more extreme than what the OP is describing here, because why would the principal ask the OP to apologize for just saying if they're dumb, or whatever insult was actually used here? But it sounds like the OP is just knowledgeable about fish, has a passion for fish to some degree because they own aquariums and fish tanks and everything, and was probably very upset when they found out that this fish was choked to death and it's also damaging the environment. So maybe if they explain that to the principal and explain what actually happened in that conversation, things would be a little bit different. But let me know what you guys think, jerk or not a jerk, for saying this to a friend who made the TikTok about saving a goldfish. Am I the jerk for not baking much for my family? I'm a 16-year-old male and I started dating my girlfriend 2 years ago. I got super into baking around that time. I bake a lot. My girlfriend loves desserts, so I've given her a ton of stuff I bake, all kinds of different stuff. I often try to bake something new and then she gets to try something new. I honestly love baking way more than eating it. My girlfriend is the opposite. Well, recently she gave me a scrapbook she made and she counted everything I baked her apparently, and she gave me the scrapbook after I baked her 100th dessert. It was filled with the picture of every dessert I've baked and pictures of me baking and her eating. She wrote a paragraph about each item I baked. Each item was dated too. She had been working on this for 2 years. She also wrote a long letter of how proud she is of my baking hobby and thanked me for the sweets, telling me how much she loves me. It was the sweetest gift I've ever gotten, and I honestly cried. I showed my mom and sister, expecting them to think it's cute, but they were pissed. They were angry I've spent so much time baking for my girlfriend and not them. I just got into this habit, and I love making my girlfriend happy as well since she loves desserts. So, am I the jerk for not baking much for my family? In this case, it could just be that the mom and the sister want to feel included, and the way they're expressing that is through being angry, but there's nothing wrong with baking for who you want to bake for. I think that the mom and the sister were probably just surprised at how much she had baked over the last 2 years, and maybe just wanted to be involved with it or be a part of it. Or it could just be just as it is here, and they just want to eat more treats that they didn't have a chance to get. One of the opinions on this says that the mom and sisters sound better, but they're happy the girlfriend cares so much and gave them something so meaningful that took a lot of time and effort. And that time is the most expensive thing in the entire world. It's impossible to get more of it, so every hour you spend baking for someone is worth more than anything you can buy with money. And I guess that would apply to the scrapbook she made as well. But let me know what you guys think. What would you do in this situation? And is he the jerk for not baking much for his family and mostly for his girlfriend? Am I the jerk for leaving significant facial scarring uncovered on a plane and being confrontational when a father asked me to cover it because it was scaring his son? I sustained very bad injuries to my face this month. I'm in the stage of healing where the scar tissue has formed, but it's still very tender, new skin. I'm going to have very obvious facial scarring for the rest of my life. The injury starts about an inch above my hairline and goes down over my brow, so that on that part, hair will not grow. It continues down my cheek where it is the deepest. I'll probably always have an indentation in the fullest part of my cheek, and then it continues to my jawline. In some ways, it's okay. I'm happy it was just cosmetic damage. My friends are super reassuring, telling me how tough and sick it's gonna look. They say I'm still hot as ever and even a little more mysterious. But in some ways, it really sucks. I know I'm always gonna be seen first as the girl with the scar, and it feels especially bad when people look at me differently. This week, I had to fly home for a family thing. It was a plan I'd made long before my injury. I wasn't really looking forward to the pity or people making a big deal of it. I'd rather I not be acknowledged. I'd also met with my dermatologist who said that I was at the stage of scar tissue formation, that I no longer should be dressing the wounds. The skin was healing, and instead I needed to be applying topical cream and Vaseline to keep the site clean and moist. It also looks a bit ugly. The building scar tissue is very red and tender, and with the Vaseline over it, it looks slick and shiny. So I get on this flight, I have the window seat, and I put my headphones on and drift off to sleep when the plane is still boarding. I wake up to this kid, maybe 4 years old, who sat next to me throwing a tantrum. I didn't catch the first part of it, and I honestly couldn't understand what he was yelling about. So his father said to me, "Can you cover that injury?" I said that my dermatologist recommends I don't, so no, I don't think I will. He started snapping at me, saying, "There is no need to be so rude. That injury is graphic and it's scaring my little one." I said, "This is my face, the only face I've got. It sucks I'm being told I'm so ugly I can't show my face in public." He started to backtrack saying, just until it's healed." And I said, "It'll always be with me. Maybe teach some compassion, respect, instead of telling a girl half your age what you think about her face. That's rude." He actually got up after that, and I think he went to the stewardess about a seat change because a young couple came to sit next to me in a few minutes instead. I gotta admit, I felt so low I put my sunglasses on and had a quiet cry for a few minutes. Am I the jerk for not covering my healing scar and for being so confrontational about it? That 4-year-old son is gonna have to learn eventually that some people have scars, and there's nothing wrong with it. So it doesn't really make sense to hide the fact from him that people have scars. It's a real thing. It actually exists out there. But maybe the parent is trying to just keep deferring that into the future, trying to delay until the little kid has to inevitably figure that out, wait on a line. It sounds like the dad wanted to have the convenience of having the kid not act out at the expense of making this girl feel pretty terrible and not even realizing probably that he's even doing that. One opinion wanted to more detail about how the father squandered a great teaching moment. Or they also said, "I'm guessing the kid's over-the-top reaction was a learned behavior, quite likely from the dad, which puts him firmly in the position of a jerk, not just for what he said to the OP, but also for teaching his kid to actively fear or be disgusted by anything that doesn't fit his version of normal." It's a small slide from "ew, that's a horrible scar" to anything else that could be different about a person. So in this case, a jerk or not a jerk, and what would you do if you were in this plane and somebody said that to you?